Hi everyone, my name's Anne Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 610. Today we're going to use our Anna Griffin supplies to make a gorgeous card. And I think this is really pretty, and I do like lilac or lavender, whatever you want to call it. Please be sure to check everything out on my blog, the full list of ingredients and everything that we use. I'm going to run through the stamps and the dies just so that you've got a good idea of what I use. And don't worry if you don't have it, substitute it with something. I can't give you a list of everything that you could use to substitute, but I can give you ideas. So the first thing that we're going to use is the Anna Griffin Sentiment Stamp and Die Set. This, I think, is one of the most useful stamp and die sets that I've ever had. Lots of sentiments and shapes to die cut the sentiments and overlay. We're going to be using this particular stamp here, Mine Are Well Loved. This says on this special occasion. It's just for the insert. So if you don't have anything like that, you can always, substitute it with something else just for you, happy birthday, whatever you have for the occasion that you're making the card for. Now also, I'm going to be using this fancy stamp here. And I'm using just this section. You'll see what I've done with it when we get to it. I've already stamped it, but it's a really neat trick to do something different with. Maybe you've got ornate shapes or ornate frames and borders in your stash. It's just something different to use with them. And it's a phrase that I've used before, it's getting more bang for your buck, isn't it? So you're getting 2 bites of the cherry with your stamps, using them for something a little bit different. So those are the stamps that we're going to use. We're going to be using the all square die set. We're going to use both the ornate layer and the shadow layer. We're going to be using the mini French fan dies. Easy for me to say. We're going to be using this particular one at the bottom, and again both the shadow layer and the ornate layer. And then we're also going to be using, I'm just double checking which one it is. It's this side. We're going to be using 2 of the dies from the compendium die set for the centre of the card. So basically for something like this, if you don't have it, you would be able to use whatever shape you've got. And I'm using 2 of them to get a border and a layer. So the card that I'm starting with is a 6x6 card from the Perfect Pretty card blanks from Anna Griffin. And it's the one that's got the lilac edge. I've already added my name and my project number to the back of the card. This basically means that if you add your name, then the recipient that you give it to will know who's made it for them in time to come when they save the card. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've got a good sharp crease along the edge, and I'm going to use it crease upwards so it will stand up like that, because I just like square cards standing that way. So we're going to make the inside first. Now I've gone ahead, I've die cut, I've cut out a piece of ivory cardstock that fits inside the card, and that'll be 5.8 inches by 5.8 inches. I've used my own round corner punch just to round the corners off. And this is where I've used the ornate stamp around the edge. I've used Wilted Violet Distress ink just around the edge, just to give it a little bit of colour. And then I've used the Sentiment stamp from the kit. There we go. And I've just used the edge of this to go round the edge of the cardstock. And I start in the corners. I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go middle, 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 and then I've filled in these bits. It's not perfect, but I think it looks good. And you know what? It'll look great on the card. So it doesn't matter if your stamping isn't perfect. You don't have to be 100%. And I've stamped with the same colour ink that I've blended the edges. So it just looks a little bit deeper because I've done a direct stamp with it rather than blending it. And it's going to match to the cardstock that we use. So that's the first layer of the inside of our card. And I think it's going to look pretty damn cool. So we'll add that to the centre of our card. There we go. Next, I have die cut the mini fan and the shadow layer for the mini fan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the actual fan section to one side, and I'm just going to take the section that I'm going to have as an underlayer just to see where I am for space. So I think that looks pretty good there. So I can pop the shadow layer of the fan down, and then the die cut layer using Anna's metallic cardstock in the Lilac. There was a big collection with lots of different colours in, pink and lilac and silver and gold, etc. And this is the lavender lilac, whichever you want to call it. So I'm going to add this. I've got it on flat tape, and I'm just going to lay it over the edge of the fan base, like so. Get it a little bit central. Always my problem when I'm looking at it at a different angle. And press it down, not straight at all, but we won't worry. So my next layer is the actual die cut fan. Now I've die cut this again from the metallic cardstock, and I've just got flat tape on the back of it between the sections. You'll see what I mean when you die cut it. There's enough sections on there to put your tape on, or your 3D foam, whatever you're going to use. So I can pop that over the top of the shadow layer, and you just get the little bits of gold poking out. And then our final layer is, I've die cut the smaller layer from the compendium die set, and I've inked it around the edge with the same purple, and then used my sentiment stamp on this occasion, just in black ink in the centre. Well, I'm saying centre, towards the top. Flat tape again on the back. When I say flat tape, that's double-sided tape. And then I can just pop that over the top of our previous layer, and that is our section to write a message. And, you know, it's not the biggest section in the world, but, you know, you're not going to write an essay in there. So there's enough space to write you to and from, lots of love, miss you, you know, have a good day, whatever. So that's the inside of our card, and that's going to match perfectly to the outside. So for the outside, I'm going to use my bone folder again for the top of the card, just to make sure that's nice and creased still. Now the base layer for this is, I've used the Foil Layers 2 collection for this. I should have said that for the inside as well, because I used it for the shadow layer for the fan. And this is just beautiful cardstock. I've used the all square die, the shadow layer, to cut this out, and it's on flat tape, and I'm just going to pop this in the centre of our card like that. Our next layer is the Ornate layer from the all square dies. I've die cut it, I've got 3D foam on the back, and I've used again the lilac or lavender metallic cardstock, and that's going to sit just nicely over its shadow layer, so you can just see the gold poking out. Next, I've taken the mini fan die, and I've used the same foil layer, number 2, for the base layer, and I'm just going to position it kind of to one side of the square from the centre. I've got 3D foam around the edge and tape in the middle. I've then got the actual ornate layer of the fan, again in the metallic cardstock, and I've got 3D foam around the edge, different sizes and different heights, to give a little bit of texture to the fan, and then flat tape right in the middle, So as I press that down over the shadow layer, we'll get dips and troughs in it. Not too much, just a little bit. Can you see that? From that edge, you'll see the different heights. And if I press it down a bit better, there we go. Try that. And that gives you the look of just the different heights and texture of it. It's hard to describe when I'm showing you. Next, I've got a sentiment. Now this sentiment could be from absolutely anywhere. I'm thinking this was from the Lilac collection, but I had a sheet of sentiments, to be honest. It had no name on it, and I've left it out. And now, like everybody who's probably ever crafted before, I'm thinking, oh God, which were they from? So if you're all shouting at the screen, shout away, but you don't have to correct me. It could be any sentiment that you use, but it just so happened this matched, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. Instead of using it as a sticker, I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm just going to put it over the edge of the mini fan, just to cover that little bit up. And press that down. Then I've got 2 flower stickers. Now these could be any, and I have a feeling these are left over from my Thankful Card Toppers kit from Anna. They're just so pretty, and I love the colours. So you could use whatever flowers you have left over in your stash for this, or use particular ones. I'm using them as a sticker, and I am simply just going to slot that under the sticker that we've put on and press it down. And then I've got a second one for just underneath the flower, the sticker with the sentiment, and I'm going to press that down. And then I've got a gorgeous lilac bow, and I'm going to add it just to one side of our sentiment to finish the card off. And that is our card finished. How pretty is that? The range of lilac and the gold just peeping through from the cardstock. And as I say, it could be any flowers, so you could match and tone your cardstock to the flowers that you use and your sentiment. Not too high, a little bit of height. Still go in the envelope though. And it's just such a pretty card. The inside matches perfectly to the outside. And I love those colours. Pink and lilac and gold, just so classy. Please check my blog, and don't forget, just because I've used it, you can substitute it. Change it to whatever you feel, and the sentiment, the celebration, whether it's a celebration or a commiseration, whatever you need to make, just think, because it's your creativity at the end of the day. I'm just giving you the ideas of, maybe using things in a slightly different way than you would have thought. And I hope I help. I enjoy hearing from you. I enjoy hearing that I am helping. That makes it all worthwhile. So please check my blog for extra photos. Give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Please share with your crafty friends. I always forget to say that bit. Whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.